these people constantly make it that there's a reason to conspire to my life, including the professionals, to get mental health says. They do this intentionally to be able to collaborate with my say out of false pretense. They collaborate that it's part of the protocol for me to go to the mental hospital at times throughout my diagnosis, which is an outpatient treatment, to be able to they've literally come to my doorstep and collaborated with says out of false pretense to my rights as a person in society that understands one thing from the other, and is a normal person with a sane mind that understands one thing from the other and functions based on what things equate to, and my place in that, or whatever else. And these people have consistently conspired outside of that I have some other inviability, some other mental health say or diagnosis or whatever else through my mental health diagnosis and treatment, which is outpatient. For the mental health diagnosis I have, collaborating that it has some other mental health diagnosis other than it does. These people have been in consistent conspiracy to this because they seem to have a consistent interest in my inviolability and competition thing with me or whatever else. They're in consistent conspiracy that my life has some other feature it does than it does, and some other thing through my mental health diagnosis that they just collaborate as a thing. Well, I'm just a person living her life. They have a constant jealousy thing, like I said, thing with me with my validity. They're constantly in conspiracy to it out of false pretense. Because of that, they just claim these things are viable to make them a thing, including the mental health field that works with my mental health diagnosis, as they show up at my doorstep collaborating with says out of false pretense that these are even part of my diagnoses, to try to be able to collaborate with my say out of false pretense and manipulate my say, which outpatiently they come up with rules for that, to manipulate my say. And they collaborate with my life that equates to other things out of false pretense or manipulate evidences to collaborate with says. I'm just a person that lives her life for her and her place in things. And these people are in constant collaboration with us out of false pretense. I may do something and they make it that it's a problem other than it does to collaborate with us out of false pretense. They constantly try to collaborate with my life out of false pretense. I'm just a person living her life for her place in it. People have constantly tried to hurt me since I've been an adult. They play around with evidences of my life, collaborate that they equate to other things, where I'm just a person living her life for her own boundaries, her own place in it. They constantly try to collaborate with says, maybe even for things I do out of false reasonings or pretexts. They may just make it into an issue it's not to do that, as they try to collaborate with my say in life out of negative means or pretext, while I'm just a person living it for her own boundaries and place in it. They try to find false reasonings to do this. Multiple people in consistent conspiracy to this. Well, I'm just a person living life. They have a jealousy thing with my viability. They've constantly used my mental health diagnosis to collaborate with us out of false pretense, just claiming to have these says, or that their says are viable to or on my life to get these says, as they just claim these things are viable, or to try to do this, where I'm just a person living her life in society. I've always had a stable mental health diagnosis. I may have symptoms like voices and stuff like that, but I've always been in reality, understanding one thing from the other, and functioning on a regular basis. For my own boundaries and place in it. It's been the same since I've been an adult. They constantly collaborate that there's false reason to get says on me, when I've always had the same stable mental health diagnosis, living for what things are, my place in it. They constantly collaborate with this out of false. They want to nickel and dime my life. I do things when it's good for me, not when it's good for other people. I don't owe other people that, where I'm not pertaining my life to them anyways. Or I haven't pertained my life to them. That's called my own personal choice, my own personal right, where I don't owe people things out of my time or life beyond where I'm pertaining it to them, and I'm living my life for me.